yourself. Do it. Kill yourself now.
Do it, no balls. Okay. Okay. All right. All right.
Hey, hey.
Yo.
Yo. How was the afterlife?
Crazy. Just had to snap my neck back around.
Was Jesus there? Or...
Was Jesus? Actually, no.
Oh.
Turns out he's on vacation in the Ghost Bahamas.
The Ghost Bahamas.
Yeah, the Gohamas.
The Bagumas.
The Bagulas. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was actually called it was what was it called? It was yeah, that's what it was. It was the pajamas. Yeah, and instead of like the Bahamas being like warm and like you know how the Bahamas are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of that, it's like a rubber it's like a giant bouncy castle, but like the entire land is bouncy castle and also yarn. And then also it's like there's like the fuzzy creatures that I see in my dreams.
What?
And there's like
Wait, what?
yeah, the fuzzy creatures. No, Teletubbies aren't fuzzy actually.
You mean
you know the colored parts of the no. I mean like the abnormal creatures of hell, Satan, but they're really fuzzy and look cute, and they also taste weird.
What? Bro,
like you know those like really old Super Mario plushies. Like just imagine how those feel, but like after they've been under like in a chest for like 10 years.
Imagine how those
like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Okay, wait. Actually, this reminds me of a really funny story. So today we were in chorus, and we were just like chilling. We just got our drinks and stuff, and we were chilling outside, like at a table. And somehow we got on the topic of dreams. I think it was because Miss Ramsey had like a funny, like weird dream last night. And I was like, oh, I get weird dreams all the time. And I told them about like how I can, how I can like when I wake up from a dream, if it was like I can like choose to go back into it and relive the same dream again.
Yeah, because you lucid dream.
Yeah. And Declan just stared at me in utter shock. And he yelled at me, "Are you a wizard?"
Oh, bless his heart.
I was like, I wish.
Yeah, believe it or not, God actually isn't that like he's not real. Because I just went to the afterlife. He's actually not real. It's kind of just
that
like
that was really random because that like we were already off that tangent and you were like, yeah, believe it or not, God isn't real.
yeah, we're going back on this tangent. So like all like the believers had like their own little corner, and it was like, oh, God will come save us, and then like a couple like deities, like a couple like otherworldly creatures were whispering in my ear like, no, he won't because he's not real. And it's like, oh, okay, thanks otherworldly dimensional beings that I cannot comprehend with my own eyes. And they're like, don't worry about it. So and then we go to a Wendy's. And we went to a Wendy's, right, Tucker? We went to a Wendy's, and so yeah, so we went to a Wendy's, and it was pretty cool. We had some chicken sandwiches, you know how it goes, and then we went like a whole tangent about like what's the best like fast food restaurant, and I had the audacity to accidentally say Burger King. Because apparently the afterlife is like Twitter, and I cannot voice my own opinions. So
even in death, Twitter still haunts you.
Believe it or not, the afterlife is actually just like Twitter personified, and we're actually just inside the mind of like some creature, some guy, some man. It's like Rick and Morty but backwards, and it's like.
Jesus.
Yeah, but he's actually not real, as I've said. But there's like the pictures of him and stuff. Like they have like a joke like employee of the month, and they just have like Jesus there. It's pretty funny. But anyways, so yeah, we were on this Wendy's, right? And I had the audacity to speak my own opinion, and I said like, "Oh, I think Burger King is the best." So then they were all like, "Oh, what the fuck? No, it's fucking like it's not Burger King. It's like Dairy Queen or something like
What?
that." And I'm like, no, I don't think that's true, buddy. And then they fucking like smited me. They cut off both my arms and then both my legs, and then they ate my face right off my head. And then
like Venom.
yeah, and then what?
Can I stop you here?
No. So and then they reattached me using some robotic shit that I don't understand because I don't understand. And so and then we went to a Burger King, and turns out I was actually correct. Burger King was actually the best because it's Burger King, and everybody likes Burger King. Burger King. So yeah, and so then they're all like, you know what, Oliver, that's not so bad. It's not so bad. You know, Burger King is not so bad. And then I just started going on like, dude, I just want someone to like share eternity with and like absolute bliss, and like just I yearn for like Burger King. Yes, I yearn for the king. I yearn for the king to uphold his blessing touches upon me, and I can finally be whole because the king of burgers, because the Burger King and the Dairy Queen had 2 children, and that was Wendy and Ronald, and so that's when that happened, and then they were deciding to like overthrow everybody, and then the Burger King and the Dairy Queen divorced, and that's why they're Burger and Dairy now because they're different, and yeah, that's like the whole lore, and that's like so it turns out those are like the actual gods, and like the fast food restaurants, all the money we pay, that's actually what the equivalent of prayers would be as like a church. And then we were just like, oh, you know what, fuck this is boring. So we left the Burger King, right, and we go out into like the infinite sunset or whatever it was called, the infinite the infinite whatever sunset. Yeah, let's just call it the infinite sunset. We went to the infinite sunset, and then we saw the embodiment of Christ, and believe it or not, his name's not actually Jesus, it's just like Michael. And like, so everybody was like wrong about Jesus, and it was like, and then it's like, oh yeah, actually I am so it's like Jesus isn't actually like the son of God or whatever. He's actually just like some random guy who just like died and went to heaven, but he was like the first one who was like worthy of heaven, and everybody else was there just for like sport. And so Jesus became like, or sorry, his name's not Jesus anymore. His name's
Michael. Morbius.
Yeah, his name's Michael. And turns out, yeah, it actually was Morbius. Yeah, Morbius is God. So, and then he said it's Morbin time, Oliver, and I was like, oh my god, please morb me. So he morbed me, right? He morbed me, and then I went to the morb dimension where like all the different morbs were, and like everybody else who was morbed was there, and I'm like, hello, fellow morbed, and we were like, we got morbed by Morbius, and then so we went to like the land of morb.
Wait.
And it was Rick and Morty.
Oliver, I need clarification. Did you talk with that voice? When you was Mike there too?
Was what?
Dylan's mic there too?
Yeah, Dylan's microphone. Like, not even Dylan, just the microphone was there. I found it on the ground. And so the earbuds were there that go with it. So I talk into the mic, right? And out comes... So then I realized, oh, it must be Dylan's mic. So then we go to the literal fucking sun, right? Yeah, we go there, and since we're dead, we don't feel. So we go over to the sun, and it turns out the sun is actually like solid, like on the inside, like you go in like it's normal molten lava, right? But on the inside, it's like a palace. It's like a jade palace, but it's not jade because it's not green.
Wait,
It's not even jade.
like-
It's actually black. It's actually black. So it's-
like a jade palace, like a palace made of jade, or like the Chinese place.
It's a Chinese place. It's the Chinese place inside the fucking sun. So we're going like, oh, it's Jade Palace. Yeah, we do Jade Palace, and everyone there is Morbius. Everyone who works there is Morbius. And turns out it's not Jade Palace. It's actually Morb Palace, and we actually got morbed again, and we got sent back to the Morb dimension, and then we turned into the Morbius. We turned into the Morbius dimension. Like I literally became one. It was like how Obi-Wan Kenobi in Episode 4 became one with the Force, and so I became one with the Morbs, you know. So and then we all fused together to create one giant Morbius, like homunculus, you know. And it was great. It was the most blissful, enlightening experience of my life. And they told me the inconspicuous suits who were also they are also like under the influence of Morb, like the Morb juice, you know, the Morb juice. And so the Morb juice people, they told me that you will be resurrected in T minus 45 minutes. What will you do until then? And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go overthrow the throne, right? I will become Morbius. So I tried that, and guess what? So I actually didn't overthrow the throne, but I became his right hand Morb. I became his right Morb man. So I essentially am just like Morbius Jr. So then fucking Bully Maguire showed up, and I was like, look at little Morbius Jr. gonna cry. And guess what? I actually didn't cry. I actually beat the shit out of Bully Maguire. And then he was like, oh, actually, I'm not in my final form yet. And then he summoned the Carnage symbiote. And I'm like, oh, fuck, it's Bully Maguire with the Carnage symbiote? No way. And then he threw a pumpkin bomb at me because he just had it in one of his many bully briefcases. And he like... I like my entire face blew up, and then it came back together, and I'm like, fuck you, I'm gonna morb you. And he's like, oh shit, and then I morbed him, and he got sent to the Morb dimension, and then I went to the Morb dimension, and I morbed him further. It's like Inception, but instead of Inception, it's Morbius, so it's Morbception. He got Morbcepted, bro. Morbcepted, I tell you. And so I Morbcepted Bully Maguire, right? And so everything like went green, right? Not black like you would expect. No, everything went green.
You greened out?
Yeah, I did green out, but instead of weed, it was Morbius. So so I exit the sun, right? I exit the sun, and I'm going back to Earth, right? But then all of a sudden, fucking like a spaceship hits me out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Why would you do that? You hit me with your fucking spaceship? What are you doing? And it was turns out it was the aliens, right? It was just aliens, like, you know, like generic looking aliens, and they told me, I don't know what they said, but like they sounded like that, and I'm like, what? So I go into their spaceship, right? I just like kind of fly in there. And as I'm opening the door, like 17 of these tiny little aliens, they're like 2 feet tall. So I'm like significantly taller than them. I'm like a giant to them. So I go inside, right? And I start eating the aliens, right? I just start eating them. Like I just start chomping on their little brains. And their heads are actually what make, like, their head is a foot tall, and then their bodies are a foot tall. So like it's literally like a 2-course meal. So anyways, I eat their brains, and then I absorb their knowledge of the keep, right, of Kronika. And then I go to Kronika's keep, and I find fucking I find Cetrion and Shinnok there. And Cetrion and Shinnok are like, oh, we're gonna fucking kill you because you ate the Morb fruit of Morb. And I'm like, fuck you, I'm gonna morb you, mother morber fuckers, mother morbers, if you will. And so I put on the Morb armor, and then I shot them with my Amogus gun.
Morbus.
Yeah, my Amor gun. And on the bullet, every single bullet has Dr. M. Morbius on it. So it's like engraved with his name and shit. It was so cool.
You should check out of context quotes.
And so Morbius just like, he showed up and was like, you have done well, my son. I guess I'm his son now. And he was like, your time has come to go back to the land of the living. And I'm like, yes, Father, I will see you in the next life. And so I'm back.
I love.
Yeah, me too. It makes life a little more spicy.
Would you believe if that was all improv?
I definitely would. Because I don't know anyone else who could make up a story about Morb Palace.
More palace. I guess when it's the Chinese place inside the fucking sun. We walked in and said, "Hey, it's Jane Palace." And when there was Morbius. It's actually called More Palace. I yearn for the. Why am I the funniest one in this server according to the quotes?
You just have a lot of weird stuff to say, Oliver.
That is true. That is very true. You do
just have all of the input that you have to offer in a day is just so utterly strange that it
Doctor Strange.